This segment brought to you by Bravo Company USA.
All right, gang, so I'm going to fast forward you here to the next scene I want to talk about. The problem here is Llewellyn grew a conscience in the middle of the night. Couldn't go to sleep, decided it was a good idea to get up, get a gallon of water, and take it back out to the crime scene and give it to the dude, who by then was probably dead anyway. Bad move, because he put himself back at the crime scene. They were able to trace him from there. Really bad move. The money could have disappeared. Chances are he would have got away with it and they wouldn't have had any idea where it went, but he put himself back in a really bad situation. Now fast forward, the Mexicans are chasing him. He's down in the water, okay? And they've sicked their pit bull on him. And he's having to deal with the pit bull. Now he's floating down the river. Keep in mind, the Mexicans just shot at him with a shotgun when he was in the water. If he's on the surface, I could see him getting hit by the pellets and injuring him. But if he's under the water in any way, shape, or form, the shotgun pellets are not going to have enough to penetrate to really injure him. So that's a little bit of a misnomer, where the pellets are ammunition. Now let's talk about this. So he has the 1911 here, and he decides that he needs to blow the water out of the bore before he can, rack around the chamber and shoot the dog. Here's what I say about this. Completely wrong. First off, he wouldn't have to worry about it. He could have brought the gun right out of the water and shot the pistol. No issues at all. However, putting yourself in the mindset of Llewellyn, probably doesn't have a lot of time with handguns, Vietnam vet, very common misconception about water in the barrel and blowing the gun up. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. He's looking at it from the point of view is, I got to do the best I can to get as much of the water out of the barrel as possible because the gun might blow up. I can tell you from personal knowledge, not the case. Him coming out of the river like that, all he had to do is rack around the chamber. He could have shot the gun with no problem, but it's not unrealistic that he might have thought that. All right, so here we go. So he's going to get it. Comes the pit bull, kicks the round out of the chamber. He obviously had to hammer down on a round, and now he shoots the dog. All right, I have a soft spot for pit bulls. They're actually big baby dolls. And I have one, so that kind of touching to me. All right, now he's picking out some of the pellets and whatnot out of his shoulder area. Now he gets back into town. We're going to go ahead and fast forward to the next spot. Okay, now we fast forwarded here to the next scene I want to talk about. Anton Chigurh linked up with the two managerials. All right, and he's going down to the crime scene. Now, the theory is, why did he shoot these two guys? Well, I read online that, and probably makes the most sense, is they asked him to ride bitch. You know anything about this guy? That would probably sign their death warrant right there. So here's the thing I really want to dial in on, okay? So he goes down here, he's looking at the bodies.
Hold this, please.
He hands off the flashlight and he picks up what appears to be a Glock 19. All right, chamber's around. He comes up. They hand him their tracking device.
You getting anything on this?
All right, stands up, gets the flashlight back, and he whacks the two managerials. Don't know why, but asking him to ride bitch was probably as good a reason as any. Here's the problem. 1980, Glock 19 didn't exist. Actually didn't exist for several more years. As a matter of fact, in 1980, the Glock itself didn't exist. Granted, it was adopted as a P-80 by the Austrian military, but it really didn't exist per se to into the 1980s, wasn't first imported into the United States to roughly the mid-80s, and then the Glock 19 after that. So we're a good 7-8 years probably before the Glock 19 ever hit the U.S. shores or was ever even known. So way out of whack on the pistol itself. Okay, we're going to bump to the next scene I want to talk about here. Anton Chigurh has tracked the money, all right? Tracked it into this hotel, has now identified exactly which hotel room it's in. So he gets a room in the hotel, and he is going to make sure his room is set up the same as the room that the money's in. All right, so the door opens the same way, it's laid out the same and all that jazz. He sets that up, he's going to do a little rehearsal here. Very well done. Excellent. Kind of makes you wonder if the guy doesn't have a little bit of military experience. Opens the door, turns on the light, just to see the lay of the room, sees the lay of the bed, sees the lay of the bathroom. Now he's going to open it again, flip the light on. He's going to inspect the room a little bit. He's going to inspect the area where you would hang your coats or whatnot, or maybe spare pillows are. He's going to see what the bathroom looks like, kind of the layout of it. Why is he flipping the light on? He wants to get a feel for how far he has to reach over. When he opens the door, how far he has to reach over. He's also getting the feel for the structural integrity of the linen closet. Very well done. Excellent detail, excellent points here, because he's preparing his plan for him assaulting the room that he knows the money's in. All right? So as to be quieter, walking down in front of the rooms, he takes off his boots, so he's going to be walking in his socks. Gets out his infamous shotgun, the suppressed shotgun. This is one of the first times we've seen it. You need to understand something. I handled this shotgun. If you watch one of my other videos, I went to ISS out in LA and I was able to handle the shotgun. Suppressor on it's fairly heavy, by the way. It's an 1187. It's a Remington semi-automatic shotgun. Was introduced in 1987, hence 1187. All right, so it's several years ahead of when the 1187 was introduced. So he's going down to the room here. Llewellyn is doing his best to get his money that he's stored in the ventilation system. All right, goes down here. You got to remember at this time, not sure who's in the room. He needs to be sure that he's ready to engage whoever's in the room. All right. Does his famous technique with the door lock. Yeah. Sounds good. Punches out the deadlock, he punches out the doorknob. Here's the thing there. First off, suppressed shotguns, assuming it's a 12 gauge, way too quiet. All right, when you look at the size of the suppressor in the shotgun, it wouldn't be anywhere near this quiet. Also, got a significant amount of muzzle flash. Now, it's not uncommon for a little bit of muzzle flash to come out of a suppressor initially as it burns the oxygen that's in the suppressor. However, that being said, this had an extraordinary amount of muzzle flash. And remember, suppressors themselves are kind of the ultimate flash hider. So it might have a little bit, but not to the degree that you see here. Also, it's much quieter than it would be in the real world. All right, so we're going to move forward here. He engages that dude. Does a shot into the linen closet where somebody might be hiding. Right here past the TV. Does a little number on that. Now, here comes the guy. Here's what I want you to see. The bulk of his pattern from the shotgun is actually in the door frame. And in the pattern that hits the side, you kind of go, wait a minute. At that range, that pattern wouldn't be that big. So I'd see a couple pellets maybe on this door frame, but not as many as they did. In my opinion, they missed that a little bit. All right. Llewellyn hears the gunshots. He knows that that's meant for him, not a good thing. Now, here comes Shigur. He's coming up. He sees the bathroom and he sees a dude move in the shower.
How'd you find that?
Okay, now, here's something interesting. Pulls the shower curtain over. And he did that now to keep blood spraying on himself. But here's the problem I have with it. He puts his muzzle into the shower curtain. There's more than enough pregnant pause for the guy in the shower to either deflect the weapon away or to move to the side. There was more than enough time for that to happen. So Shigure should have closed it and immediately pulled the trigger. All right. All right, we're going to fast forward to the next scene where Llewellyn's in the hotel, where he told the guy at the front desk, hey, if you have anybody come in after me, give me a call. All right, he's up in the hotel room. All right, now, here's the problem with this. He heard the suppressed gunshot. He tried to ring the guy at the desk. The phone kept ringing, so he knows that guy's out of action. He squares himself up on the bed directly in front of his door. All right, bad call. Remember, you're in a room, you want to use the angles to your advantage. What he should have done was, okay, this guy is going to break into this room in some form or fashion. I'm going to get over in the corner. I'm going to have a 90-degree angle on this guy. I'm going to hit him from his blind spot in the corner. The other thing, you know what? He knows this guy standing in front of his door is probably not there to collect for the Salvation Army, so maybe he should have shot through the door at this time. Just saying. All right. Shigure does a good idea. He realizes he's backlit. He goes down and kills the light. All right. Once again, I want to go back to Llewellyn should have went in the corner and waited for this guy to come in, and that way he had an angle on him from the corner. Squaring up right in front of the door, right in front, sitting on the bed was a bad call. All right. Now, he gets hit by the lug. He fires back. Now he's going to diddy mow out the window. Took the bag of money with him. Got injured. Apparently got shot as he was going out the window, because that lock hitting him wouldn't have done that much damage. Now Shigure is shooting at him as he runs away down the alley. Here Llewellyn Moss is going to come out and stop the truck. He jumps in.
Don't worry, it ain't gonna hurt you. Need you to drive me on out of here.
And Shigure starts doing some work. Now, interestingly enough, when you look at where he's at, he obviously had to cover some ground from the hotel to get across the street where he's at to engage. All right, to engage Moss. Now, Moss comes around the corner, still taking rounds, and ends up T-boning a car. Does a smart thing here now. He bails, and he's going to go across the street and try to get in a position where he can get a drop on Shigure. This is probably Moss's best spot to kill Shigure. He should have made that happen. He sees him coming out. He sees him in his reflection. This is when he should have went all in to try to get him. All right. Shigure didn't really know where he was at. He was closing in on the vehicle. Has a suppressed Tech 9, which, once again, 1980, Tech 9 really didn't exist. All right, so we have yet another weapon that was not accurate for the 1980 time frame. This is where, right here, when he was distracted, is when Moss should have went all in to kill Shigure. Sees the blood trail. Now, Shigure does a good job of getting out of here. He obviously took a hit, but he gets out of there, does a really good job at it. All right. He sees the blood trail take off, and Shigure is gone. Okay, now the next scene we're going to talk about, Shigure is back at the hotel. All right, and he's going to patch himself up. He's already hit the pharmacy. He had a distraction with the car blowing up. He rolled into the pharmacy when everybody was had their back turned, and he got some meds for him, and now he's going to roll in and start patching himself up at the hotel. Now, puts down plastic, realizes he's got blood in his boots, obviously. This is a pretty interesting sequence here, because to be honest with you, it's pretty switched on. He had to have some training somewhere to have the wherewithal to deal with this injury to the degree that he does. So he cleans himself off, which everybody would understand how to do that. That's no big deal. All right. Then he sets himself up in the bathroom. He gets boiling water going, disinfects the wound. All right. He gets boiling water going so he can sterilize the tweezers. So here he's applied the lidocaine to the wound to numb it up. He sterilized the tweezers. He's starting to pull debris out of the gunshot wound. All right. Average dude isn't going to really know how to do that. Kind of makes me wonder if the guy hasn't had some enhanced training. Remember, this is 1980. Maybe a guy had been an SF medic or something along those lines. Obviously, he's had some medical training. The average bear would not know how to do that kind of stuff. That's a little bit out of the norm. You go, well, it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, but he has the wherewithal to get all the materials, to sterilize everything, to get everything sorted out to where he can debride the wound. Actually pretty switched on. Overall, really good movie, one of my favorites. It's one of those, the more you watch it, the more you kind of peel into different things. And this particular character with Anton Chigurh, pretty interesting. There's a lot of theories online because there's a lot of stuff that isn't said that you have to theorize and connect your own dots. Like, number one, why was he arrested at the beginning of the movie and brought into the police station in handcuffs? What's that all about? Theory is he did that on purpose to challenge himself to see if he would be able to break out of the handcuffs. If he purposely put himself in that situation to be arrested to see if he could get himself out of it. That was a theory that I saw online that was floated, because it kind of makes sense with this character, the way this guy's maneuvering in and around, and he's the gray man, even though he doesn't look like the gray man at all. How did he get arrested in the first place? Also, he gets injured a couple times. Moss had the chance to kill him. He injured him, but he got away. That may have been a little wake-up call, especially at the end of the movie where he gets T-boned and ends up with a compound fracture in his arm. The theory is that's occasionally a wake-up call, that karma can even hit this guy and give him a little bit of a wake-up call. Even though he is death personified, occasionally karma has your number and it's going to give you a little bit of a wake-up call. Overall, great movie, one of my favorites. I kind of wanted to do the movie to bring out a few things from a tactics point of view that didn't necessarily pass muster, and some stuff from a tactics point of view that did, and also to highlight the fact that most of the guns in the movie are not period correct. All right. In the Coen brothers' defense, if they would have used 1980 period correct guns, in many cases they would have been pretty boring. Hope you enjoyed it. Larry at the Movies, No Country for Old Men. Let us know what you think about this in the comments, and let us know what other movies you want us to do. Have a good one. We'll see you next time. LAV out. Hey, Larry Vickers here. I hope you enjoyed this video. Click here to subscribe to the Vickers Tactical channel and take time out to check out some of our other favorite videos.